Um, a very, very warm welcome to everyone who has come here um, for this webinar on food forests to address climate change and nutritional insecurity. We have with us here Dr. Syam Viswanath, um, who is a retired scientist from ICFRE and who has, a very in-depth scientific career spanning over 32 years. Before I hand over, the mic to him so he can give us his talk, let me just briefly introduce him. He has uh, been very active. Like I said, he's had a very intense scientific career over 32 years, and most of his work has been in agroforestry research and in conservation science, primarily focusing on traditional agroforestry systems and so on and so forth. Um, there are two areas that he has worked more significantly on. One is on the sandalwood-based agroforestry practices in India. This includes not just the research aspect of it, but also, conducting various training programs with farmers and passing on this, knowledge and information to them. And in recognition of all this, in fact, he was also nominated as a member of the Sandalwood Development Committee under the Economic Advisory Council to PM Niti Aayog in 2021. The other aspect that he's worked extensively on is the conservation and domestication of prominent bamboo species and utilization of bamboo species as edible shoots, and in general understanding its socioeconomic, ecological significance. Uh, all of this has come out through very many scientific publications. And again, like for sandalwood, he has come up with agroforestry practices in the status report on bamboo conservation management and utilization in India for ICFRE. There are multiple books that he has published, some kind of cultivation packages for bamboo cultivation, specifically for four different species. His work is very, very expansive, and I'm actually cutting short the introduction because there are so many different aspects that he's worked on. Um, but he has also, during his tenure, mentored 25 students for PhD. And I can happily say that I am one of them. I'm extremely proud of it. And yeah, he has worked on several international, national assignments and worked as guest faculty or adjunct faculty in many universities, Azim Premji, University of Florida, and so on and so forth. Um, so with that, let me request Shyam sir to please take over and start his talk on food forests to address climate change and nutritional insecurity. Sir, please.
Thank you, Smriti, for the kind introduction. As she was mentioning, had a long stint in ICFRE as an agroforestry research, and another 5 years on in Kerala Forest Research Institute, where I was focusing mainly on bamboo. And of course, I was leading many of the research programs there as director before my retirement. But this topic today, which I'm going to talk to you about, is relatively, I must admit, is relatively new to me. And rather than from a scientific perspective, I would be talking to you more as a practitioner of this particular item, that is that food forest. That is basically it's an extension of agroforestry. It's in a more refined form. And I see that it has a lot of potential. And I have come across some wonderful exponents of this food forest in Kerala. And while I was in KFRI, I was motivated to take up food forest after seeing some of the food forests established by, I should say, one of the pioneers in food forest in Kerala, Sri Reggie Joseph. I think he must also be part of the audience now. Coming to the topic, I would like to this will be the outline of my talk. I would like to finish it off in 45 minutes. That is the time allotted to me. And giving a global overview of this, understanding the dynamics of food forests as I see it, essential features and components. And then I will take up as a case study what I have actually done, established this food forest in my own farm. That is where I'm talking to you right now, in Palakkad, Kerala. And what I have done and how do I feel that about the prospects and potential of this advantages, the challenges and the research opportunities, of course. There is immense scope for research. We will come to that later. Now, as I said, agroforestry, adoption of this agroforestry with focus on nutrient cycling, biological nitrogen fixation, promotion of beneficial microbial activities and watershed approaches have helped Indian agriculture during its critical phase in the 60s and 70s. It is also believed that at that time, it had a great role in preventing conversion of forested land to agriculture needs. And agroforestry, through its direct and indirect benefits, has now been recognized as a carbon sequestration activity. And the National Policy on Agroforestry in 2014, it's very important, recognizes agroforestry its potential to mitigate climate change, natural resource conservation, and carbon sequestration. So this is a very classical illustration of forest ecosystem, common agriculture system, and then agroforestry system, where it is like a closed system. Whereas in this agriculture, there is heavy loss output from the system. Forestry, in a closed forest ecosystem also, there is little loss. Similarly, agroforestry, there is little loss output from the system. Now, coming to food forest, as I said, it's a refinement of agroforestry in a refined form. Many definitions I had picked up from the internet and scientific literature. One of the most common thing is that it's a deliberately planted ecosystem that mimics natural forest structure to produce food. That is very important, to produce food. In a agroforestry thing, that is equally important. I mean, rather than the food part, it is the woody perennials for timber, NTFP, and other things are also important besides growing agricultural crops. Several synonyms like forest garden, edible forest, all have been used to describe food forests. Actually, it's different from Miyawaki. Miyawaki is kind of urban afforestation that focuses on a small area, pumping in resources to create the forest in the shortest period. And the home garden, homestead farming, that is a form of agroforestry, where multi-tier cropping system, many of the things are there, but mostly cash crops. That is a focus in home garden, and also to meet the nutritional needs. So cash plantation crops, there is a focus in homestead garden, coconuts, pepper, cacao, so many other things. Main features of food forest, of course, there's vast diversity, rich diversity within a small area, multiple layers, just like our homestead. It is also self-regulatory, self-maintaining. I'll come to that in detail. And it's very intensive in a small area. You can have so much of diversity of food crops, fruit trees. It is also very resilient and sustainable. The way it is set up makes it quite resilient to vagaries of climate change. And it resembles a closed ecosystem, like natural forest, more than any other agroforestry. That's the difference. It's a very closed ecosystem. I looked up into the literature on the global scenario of food forests, and the food forest concept was, for those who are not uninitiated in food forests, say that it was actually developed in 1970 in Australia. And the food forest picked up around 2014, followed by a slight slump, and around 155 to 200 recognized food forests are there in the developed world. And there's a seminal paper from Stephanie and Wake in 2021, which I thought was that is one of the an overview of all the food forests. But mainly the evidence is from Europe, North America, and South America, and then a little bit from Australia. In fact, they argue that there is a little distinction in research and practice between forest gardens and food forests. And they have proposed a definition of food forest, something as a minimum size of 1 acre, that is 0.5 hectare, and at least 10% canopy cover, which does not work in developing nation like India, much less in Kerala, where the land holding size is less than, say, 15 or 20 cents average land holding. And so there, the concept is different. People, establish food forests mainly to meet the nutritional requirements and also safe foods. Stephanie and Wake had also developed a sustainable criteria to evaluate the performance of some food forests based on environmental, social, cultural, and economic indicators. And what is interesting, I noticed, is that out of the 209 samples across North America, South America, and in Europe and all that, the focus has mainly been on community engagement and also education. That has been the main focus of the food forests, and for food production, only 11% of this food forests, and for meeting self-sufficiency, 7% only focused on that. So that is a very sharp contrast to what is required in India. Now, coming to the evolution of food forests in Kerala, environmentalists in Kerala during even as during the 80s, they experimented with permaculture quite a bit of Bill Mollison permaculture. Then Dabholkar, his book Plenty for All, has also influenced this evolution of food forests, followed by this zero budget natural farming, Gerard may be familiar, of Subhash Palekar. So these three have been the stalwarts who have set the tone for food forests. And this person standing here is Reggie Joseph. He devised a food forest strategy through his organization in 2000. And over a period of 10 to 15 years, more than 180 food forests have been directly established in Kerala, ranging from 3 cents to even more than 1 acre. So this man has been singularly responsible, along with this another person, Prakash. So both of them team together, and they are recognized in Kerala for their sterling work. There are some variations of Kerala government has also had this home nutrition garden in backyards, then this terrace farming, especially to meet the vegetable needs of the family, and also this for focusing on this one medicinal plants, Pachaturitu, versus of greenery. I also happened to visit food forests in other places in Kerala, one which was established in Palakkad, 10 years completed. And now it's only the plantation crops, jackfruit, coconut, and all that is mainly seen. And in another 5-year-old food forest established in Palakkad, near to Srikrishapuram, I noticed that ladies, it was primarily managed by the women in the household, and they also had opportunity to start business, that is value addition, processing, and all that. So that was an offshoot of this food forest. So typical food forest, what is the principle behind it? We'll discuss about that. It involves a diverse, intense mix of big, medium, and small canopy fruit trees with fast-growing, short duration perennials, intercrop with annuals and biennials. And there is also this short duration perennials. I would also refer to them as nurse plants, which provide a canopy to the slow growing fruit crops in the initial 3 to 4 years without compromising on light availability and nutrient sharing patterns. And then there is the continuous live mulch. So in this food forest, we have 33 to 38 varieties of seeds that is sown also within the pit and also in the crop. So that is the one that gives us continuous green mulch and smothers weeds, minimizes soil moisture, and adds nutrient availability of the soil through leguminous nitrogen fixation, and also the decomposition of the tremendous amount of biomass that is generated. And also litter and fine roots. As I said, a diverse mixture of legumes, oilseeds, green manure crops, cereals, small and lesser millets occupy the interspaces. So at a given point of time, a live mulch is there to grow. But this all requires some periodical canopy management and shade regulation, because this can come up and even smother the main food crops, the fruit trees that you have planted. So periodically, it has to be not taken apart. You cannot destroy that. You just bend it actually, so that uh, it doesn't compromise on the light availability of the fruit trees planted, which is the main thing. This could be a sustainable ecological model to meet the food and nutrition requirements. And now, how to establish it? First, you have to choose a diverse mixture of fruit and fruit crops. Then pit size should be particularly large, 1 cubic meter minimum, because that also is a you have to manage it inside the pit. Also, there is space for various agriculture crops, pulses, oil seeds, and all that. Then the enriched special compost, that is very essential. I'll come to that, how it is being made and why it is so essential in the pit. At least 20 kg per pit. The distance between two main plants is 10 to 10 feet, and one unit 14 to 40 feet will have 25 plants of this fruit plants. So basically, you have the big canopy 12.5%, medium canopy 12.5%, small 25%, and nurse plants, that is a banana, papaya 50%, and India crop with 33 to 36 varieties of pulses, cereals, oilseeds, green leafy crops, spices, and a special configuration inside the pits. And typically, the soil health is we don't use any fertilizers or chemicals. It's the biomanure, Jeevamritam, which has to be made in the farm itself. Basically, a 100-liter can, you have in that 5 kg of jaggery, 1 kg of cowpea powder. Then you have the topsoil. Then we have this what you call native cows, preferably urine and dung. So mix it, and why topsoil? Because basically promoting the activity of the soil microbes, and this at least 1 liter uh, per plant is to be given in monthly intervals, periodic intervals. In monthly intervals, that will be most ideal. Drip irrigation is essentially in this very, because Kerala, even though the average rainfall is around 3,000 millimeter, but in places like Palakkad, where I am from, you have a long dry spell. Generally, from January to May, rains are very scanty, and that is a stress period for most of the planted crops, fruit crops. Then there is a huge problem of wild boars and other stray grazing and all that. So protection is essential, and it can be used using live fences of glyphosate, which can also be used for green manure. The maintenance of this green cover live mulch at all times is a central feature. I started this, take up this farm, my farm, known as Vanastri farm. It's a 3-acre farm, of which 30 cents have been set aside for establishing this food forest. Mainly, at the time of establishing, I thought that was in June 2024, last year. Now it's exactly 1 year since I established it. Basically, I wanted to meet the food security needs, earn a little farm income also, selling the surplus to basically, I wanted to preserve the biodiversity, organic matter status, see the changes, what is happening, and also maintain soil fertility. This is on a slightly sloping, it's on the top of a hill, slightly sloping this one. So a lot of soil conservation works need to be undertaken, because a lot of runoff is there during intense rainfall events. So I thought that this could be a model for small farmers, and wanted to establish as a model demo plot, and after documenting every step for extension and outreach purposes, and also R&D research plot for knowledge institutions. So this is the farm, and this is the food forest in the background. And the rest of the area, 3 acres, is all I have set up commercial, non-thorny bamboo species plantations. Now it's 3 years old. It is, I found that maybe to establish a good forest, you need desi cows, native breeds, Vechur and Ponganur calf. Maintaining them mainly for not for the milk. I don't get much milk. Tried milking the cow and really got a few kicks in return. So I discarded that possibility. So the milk is for the cow to drink, and the urine and dung that I use for making this biomanure. And also some poultry in egg laying. This thing is there because you get a lot of intercrop millets and jowar and all that could be used, maize and all could be used as feed for the poultry. So that was the idea. And after deciding the area which is available for food forest, 30 cents, as I said, I removed whatever bamboo was there and replaced it with this wood forest. And the compost, I usually, if you prepare the special compost, then you can save a lot of money. Otherwise, I bought it from Reggie Joseph himself. So around 40% of your total budget goes for that, but still it is worth it. Then you have to have a layout and then source the plant material and from accredited sources. Then after laying out and use the JCB and 15 to 20 kg of the special compost and also in each pit 2 marigold as insect repellent was also planted. That's part of the package. And as per the density, 10 to 10 feet, and then mulched it, and also inside after planting with coconut with mulch. Intercultivation with using power tiller for around 33 varieties of pulse seeds, oil seeds, cereals, and inside the pit also in concentric circles, pulses, maize, red gram has been done, and live fencing with glyricedia at 6 feet. And drip irrigation in December I installed it, and that has protected my fruit crops in rainy season. And this I used to make jivan with them. That is it could be some people make panchayat, and that's also good. The biomanure to periodically sustain the soil health. That is Paleka's idea based on Paleka's this thing. And this is how it looks. I mean, the canopy management, 14 to 40 feet. So let's say unit around 25 plants. You have the distance between 2 big trees. Big trees could be mango, jack, breadfruit, avocado. The distance would be 26 feet. Between 2 adjacent would be 10 feet. The suppressed tree is actually the nurse tree, banana. Because this trees, the fruit trees take 4 or 5 years to attain full size. At that time, it is a banana that gives that nurses, that protects it as a nurse plant. Medium trees, fruit trees, and then the small fruit trees. So at this will be 1 unit. That would require a minimum of 3 cents. That's why I said the minimum 14 to 40 feet. The outer, the jack, the jack or coconut or something like that, and the distance between these two. I mean, diagonally, if you look at this, 26 feet. Between 2 adjacent distance would be plants would be 10 feet. And again, the interspaces are there. You can have again, besides the 33 varieties of vegetables and all that, you can have tapioca, manioc, sweet potato, and also that. So that every space, every inch is covered up. So this was what I used in 30 cents big canopy. You can imagine the intensity. 17 big canopy trees, mango 7 varieties, jackfruit 7 varieties, 1 breadfruit, star fruit, and water apple. The medium canopy would include species like guava, 3 varieties of guava, jackfruit, Vietnam only one, source of sapota, eggplant, rambutan, avocados, cinnamon, Lubica fruit, Mozambique garcinia, source of Rollinia, soprat, bird. In small canopy would be like species like this, Spondias mangifera, which is actually, this is a sweet variety. This is very dwarf. Garcinia, citrus, varieties, Eugenia, Moringa, Henna, Sasbania grandiflora. custard apple, lemon, West Indian cherry, Suriname cherry. Interestingly, some 3 or 4 species of flowering plants were also introduced. I mean, to provide a diversity, like the today and tomorrow flowering, maintaining it as small. It's a big tree, I know, but that is also there. Perfume tree, ylang ylang is also there. Yes. And the nurse plants that was used was 12 varieties of banana, 5 circles each, which are procured from regional research station of Kannara, in Kannara of Kerala Agriculture University, and 10 plants of TC plants of papaya red lady. And among the 12 varieties of banana, interestingly, the one that performed the best was this papoli, that is that African. And it is best used for making this banana bhajis, very tasty material. And yangumbi, this is also a variety from Africa which grows in drought-prone regions and very sweet. It has come up well in Palakkad agroclimatic zone. And the planting material, 15, all this close to 120 plants. Overnight planting, this planting was completed within 1 day. And after immediately, because after your field is ready, staking, pitting, and then the planting within 1 day. Reggie Joseph and his team, they have a well-oiled team, and 5 or 6 persons are there. They know exactly what to do, and I was so astonished. By afternoon, the job of planting was done, along with intercropping of 33 varieties of this cereals, pulses, vegetables, oil seeds, green manure crops like the millets, 5 or 6 varieties of millets, and the spices and cumin, mustard, favorite. And then they were all mixed in the intercrop. And compost is the most crucial component as I stated. It is actually the base was a power pit, then microbial inoculum, poultry manure, goat manure, water, biomass. Again, another sandwich layer, microbial inoculum, cow dung, topsoil, and top of the topsoil, rock phosphate. So it is like a comprehensive mixture. No wonder it is a little costly, but this is the one that provides a sustenance for the fruit trees over the years. And this is how it is made. The layer by layer, you can see that this compost will be underestimated to tell the importance of that, and it's really important. This compost is a crucial component of food forest. And the proximate analysis of this compost, which was used in food forest, you can notice this organic matter itself is around 39%, and carbon content is 22. It is almost like biochar. The carbon content 22 is very good. pH and all parameters were very good for that. And after 10 by 10 meter spacing, the fruit staking is there, and this is where planting of the fruit trees. After around 20 kg of compost is bound into each of these 1 cubic meter pits. And inside the pit, now the fruit tree in the center and the coconut husk on all 4 sides is mulched. In the first layer, you have you're sowing the seeds of cowpea, green gram, black gram around this. In the second layer, you have amaranthus, mustard, fenugreek, and all that. Sesame is very important. Then around 24 seeds at 1 feet at 30 centimeters spacing, you get around 24 maize seeds. That is that one that edible maize that you get. That is the one that is used. It is not the fodder maize. It is that maize that we use it for the small one, which we use it as salads and all that. Then red gram. In 4 cardinal direction, red gram, and then again the space outside that vegetables could be used for that. So remember that this is a 1 cubic meter pit. There is space like that. After sowing the seeds, it will be within a few days germination starts. And this is after planting of the fruit trees and after intercropping. So this is the overall layout of the farm. This is how it looks from. Composition is so important. And June, by August, maximum biomass, you'll get all the intercrop seeds, vegetable seeds will come up, and it will be lush green vegetation. In fact, it will be very difficult to go inside. I had my supervisor who refused to go in, saying that he cannot see the ground. He's fearful of that. reptiles and others and the undergrowth. So actually called up Reggie Joseph and his team, and they are helping me out in what do you call bending the stalks of this maize, whatever vegetation that has come, agriculture crops that has come up, so that it doesn't smother the fruit crops. And by September, it was very clear the banana has come up well. And by December, by the time there's a decline, the first thing that you get from this food forest is a cowpea, green gram. You can start harvesting. Then you get that maize that you could actually the table variety that you could use it. Then the vegetables can be harvested, and then the last is the red gram. By December, you start getting the red gram harvest. But without drip irrigation, this is how, I mean, by January, there is stress. The temperature starts to shoot up and no rainfall. And then there's a problem. So you have to install a drip. I did that. And from January to May. And I didn't use it indiscriminately. Drip irrigation for forest, you cannot overuse it. Half an hour a day for 30 cents, that is sufficient. So each plant may get 1 to 2 liters maximum. That's it per day in half an hour. So that is how it was done. But with the onset of monsoon, the scenario changed. You can see that within a few weeks of rain, 2 weeks, the entire thing changed. By May 26, this year, the onset of monsoon was earlier, 10 days before the expected normal expected date. It has come, and the field turned lush green. And now it has sprung back into life, I would say. And by the time the small, medium plants of so this is some of the photos of that, have all well established and more than 1.5 meter tall. So by the time I was also harvesting the bananas, even now banana around 60 bananas are there. So continuous harvest of bananas. The yearly activity schedule, if you look at it, that made a kind of bird chart, and throughout the year there is activity which needs to be done in that. Right from establishment, I could just cutting that shade regulation. That is very important. Shade regulation inside the pit by bending the pulse crops and oilseeds and other things. Generally, weeds very few, because agriculture crops, the pulse crops and all that smother the weeds. Harvest of the baby corn is the one that is harvested, and that could be used, and the leafy vegetables and the millets, especially if you have poultry. This is ready stock of this, and millets can be given to the poultry farm. Normally in households in Kerala, backyard poultry is there. That for them also it is very useful. It's just part of the essential component in a home garden. In Kerala, you see that backyard poultry, and soil testing can be done at before and after, and at regular intervals. And red gram needs to be pruned, because otherwise it will overshadow the food crops. So that is what I've done. And I had an issue with the red gram, severe infestation of mites, so I had to prune it rather drastically. Though I did not get any yield. But this was since it was for the first time the heavy infestation of mealybugs was there. So that thing is there. Then after this is also a season for planting tuber crops, colocation. I didn't do that precisely for a reason, because wild boar and it could attract wild boar and porcupines, which are a problem in these areas. And application of biomanure is done at every weekly interval. It is if you look into the expenditure part for establishing 30 cents, incurred a total expenditure of around 1.2 lakhs, approximately. Like if I had 120 plants, 1,000 rupees per pit, without the thumb rule, we can keep it like that. Then drip irrigation costed me around another 20,000 crores. So that was it. That was the total expenditure that I incurred. And note here the point: the 1/3 of the cost is for the compost. If you're able to prepare your own compost, that you will need some planning. Then at least 1/3 cost can be saved. Now, the advantage of this food forest, as I see it, in terms of ecological benefits as well as nutritional security, huge biomass turnover. is there in the initial phase. If you establish in June, by August, Reggie Joseph had actually have some data on that, nearly 40 tons of green biomass, and which, if you look at the dry matter production, that will work out to around 4 tons per acre. That's pretty good. I know that bamboo plantations biomass, I mean, around Balfour 40 tons per hectare. In other species, around 8 to 10 tons. Like that. So it's but considering that within a short period, so much of biomass that, and then you're not harvesting it and taking it away. It's mostly left in the field and allowed to decompose, and that adds to the nutrient, soil nutrient nutrition, and also productivity of the soils. The resilience to the vagaries of climate, when you have this intense rainfall events can be checked because you have this green cover. And there is zero use of inputs, inorganic fertilizers, pesticides, nothing has been used. And that is the principal input for us. So over a couple of years, hopefully the soil health, increase in soil, organic matter. Already I could see a lot of earthworm castings, microbial diversity. I can say that, but without any data, evidence need to be studies on that microbial diversity. Check. And enhance the biodiversity, holistic ecosystem health is what is visible. Periodical harvest of this diverse, safe food like fruits, nuts, and vegetables contribute to nutrition and nutritional security of the farm family. And the minimal soil runoff. I had this problem. In the initial phase, when the soil was exposed when establishing it in the first year, there was a lot of little runoff. Then I took soil conservation measures. I diverted the main flow from within the field to outside the periphery and then into a pond, rainwater harvesting pond. There is scope for value addition. I'm now fed up with the banana, flooded with bananas, so don't know what to do. So I used to sell in the local market. Some of the persons who are taking up this food forest, they have established their processing and preservation units in home as an extension, drying and then packaging it, jackfruit, banana, mango. After 4 or 5 years, this is very relevant. There's also a lot of people come and see this, what is happening. Building biomass and soil carbon sequestration, though I had given in the title, I didn't have any solid data to substantiate that claims, which I believe that the R&D organizations could step in, and there is a wonderful canvas research opportunity that trying to quantify the biomass generated and its retention. Because a lot of other biomass is also in the field, especially banana. After harvesting, the pseudostem leaves and emerging suckers are cut and left to decompose. And banana, as you know, the growth is very fast and quite a lot of biomass is produced, and which is left in the field. The fallen debris, twigs, branches, and other things are also added to the soil. Biomass turnover we can expect it to contribute to enhance soil organic matter and carbon. Subsequently, live natural mulch help throughout the year, help in soil moisture and weed suppression. The minimal disturbance of soil, even when you're harvesting the agriculture produce, you're not cutting it, pulling it out. We're just clipping the top portion, and then that is used either in the home or maybe I use it for feeding my poultry. And staggered trenches, rainwater harvesting. That's one thing that need to be taken care of, depending on the terrain of your land, because you do get spells of very intense rainfall. Excess rainwater flow within the plot can be diverted through strategic alignment of pathways and retention pond. And also periodical application of biomanure that you have to prepare it in your field itself, monthly intervals, and that can apply it at the rate of at least 1 liter per plant. So this is what I did. There was a big problem of rainwater, intense rainwater flowing into the food forest. I diverted and made a channel and then made a retention pond, runoff pond, and with a spillway so that excess water is drained off and doesn't flow into the field. And I did soil sample testing at the beginning in May, and then again I did in May. But of course, as may not be much difference as because over a short period of time period you can see the pH. Even decreased, pH decreased and it turns slightly more acidic. Organic carbon, not much change. Available P and all that, and which boron, which is deficient, has not become sufficient. There is already change I noticed. The challenges that I would outline is that when you're designing a food forest, the terrain slope and drainage has to be observed because soil erosion control and soil conservation measures has to be designed accordingly. You will get a lot of predation by birds. Then biotic interferences like nets, putting nets for in case of porcupines, stray grazing and all that. This pest and disease problem, but not to a serious account. The only problem that I faced was with red gram. I had this mealybug problem. Birds, mainly peacocks, you can't do anything. And a lot of other birds, you have to just enjoy that. Let them also feed. Live and let live. That is a policy. I mean, some of it, it's also the birds can also feed on that. So that is the principle that should be maintained. And to sustain the lively the system, food forest systems, this biomanure is very essential. That from Palekar, I mean, what he has proposed, I mean, that is what his idea is. So regular monitoring and maintenance of shade regulation is that is also a very intensive process, and you have to do it at least during from June, July up to December. Marketing of this perishable products like bananas and papayas, that is a challenge. You have to plan beforehand how to do that. Drip irrigation has to be installed and its maintenance. See that it's not clogged. Clean the filter and monitor it regularly. That is this one. Also, the soil health, periodical monitoring of soil health is essential. Look for signs of earthworm castings, and also at every 6 months, I would recommend analyze the soil, see the changes, and document it. So, like that, and some additional income is I sell this bananas and those things. And papayas also, red lady papayas is well in demand, so that also the local markets are selling. But the main thing here, I would say, being digital science and also other research organizations, I find that very little research inputs have gone into this system. It has been there in Kerala, for example, since 10 years, but no systematic studies have been done. There is no publication worth the name, actually. So on the socio-economic side, you can think about how to create a marketing of surplus products through farmers, cooperative, and all that. That is some initiative has to be done in that. Now more than 200 food forests across the state of Kerala. So this is something, and maybe through Jaiva Kalavara or some other organic matter, organic food outlets, this could be tied up. This can be a field laboratory for monitoring of the soil health, microbial activity, especially the diversity of microbial population through metagenomic studies, for example, soil carbon sequestration studies. The soil organic matter buildup process can be documented on a regular basis. In fact, much more intensive data is needed on food forests to quantify the biomass accumulation, dry matter production and productivity, and the decomposition of fine below ground roots, the fruit trees and the crops and all that. Is something that needs to be looked into. Then the sustainable criteria encompassing the socio-economic, ecological, and economic parameters to evaluate the overall performance can be a good idea to start with. If things are in place, then this food forest could be theoretically an ecologically sustainable, climate resilient model for small farmers to meet their food security, promote nutritional security and additional income generation, as well as sustain the soil. And this is one publication that I saw, but that is an extension publication. Food forest, a very recent one. The other one, international publication, which came to my notice was this one. This is pretty good. An overview of this food forest across the globe, but mainly looking at food forests in the developed world. And lastly, I would like to acknowledge Reggie Joseph. He has been, I would say, the father of food forests in Kerala, the pioneer. He has planted directly and indirectly more than 413 plots, ranging from 3 to 12 acres. And his work is notable, especially in Attapadi region. Gooseberry plants for which in 250 acres in Rain Shadow region, for which he won several recognitions and awards. Municipal Plant Board and also National Plant Genome Survey Award. He, along with Prakash, has been the pioneers of that. And in fact, this person is also very inspiring. And very recently, a film was made based on his life, Somanda Kridava, that is actually depicting his life, the various challenges that he faced. So I had before I started my food forest, I visited his farmhouse. This is one of the oldest farms, around 10 years old, I think, for us. So, yeah, thanks for a patient hearing. Uh, we can take in some questions, Shruti.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So I think I'll request if anybody has any questions, they can either put it in the chat box or they can just raise their hand. There are a few that I think have been put up here already. So what would you prefer? Do you want to read it yourself or can I just read it?
Can you just read it, and if you can respond, then I can immediately answer. Otherwise, you can do it and
Yes.
respond to later.
Yes, yes, sure. So I think one of the questions is one, it's more of a comment that, food forest should be popularized. So much of food productivity in such a small area is possible, and it also complements your talk. So it's more of a comment, and yeah, I completely agree with that. Uh, there is another question here on what steps have to be taken to avoid, what you mentioned, the wild boars, the porcupines, and peacocks from destroying the crops. So are there any particular steps that you can suggest or that has worked for you, and you can
Yeah,
probably
what is
elaborate?
worked for me? First, my fencing, the outer perimeter, I had uh, thoroughly, foolproofed it, and there is no gap in the fence. Actually, my farm is in a kind of isolated place. There are no habitations near it. So, and adjoining areas are wooded areas, a lot of wild boars and all. But now I have earlier, this my plot was a haven for wild boars. That was before actually started this food farming and established my farmhouse 3 years back. With whatever what do you call safe havens were there in the plot. With JCB, I took it out, and then I didn't kill the wild boars. I let them out into the adjoining area. But nowadays, you get permission to even shoot the wild boars. But now, after fortifying my outer perimeter, and then in the inner perimeter, 30 cents area, I loosely tied nets on Glyricidea posts. I raise Glyricidea. Glyricidea, by cuttings, you can raise it. It comes up very fast, and I use that. And it has come out very successfully. And I do not have any further problems of wild boar and porcupines. Peacocks, you can't do anything. National bird. It will come flying over, and you have to enjoy the sight. And of course, if it gets a little too intense, you can burst crackers and try to scare it away, which works actually. Thankfully, there are no monkeys. If that was there, I would have given up this food forest. That is too much for me. That would have been. But luckily, no what do you call monkeys in the vicinity. It's very far from forest. Yes, so that is why. And yeah, though no, I didn't find any other problem. Yeah. So
Okay.
the next.
Yeah, great. Thanks, sir. So, sir, Vishnu Priyan has this question about Jivamrutam that you were talking about. It ideally is applied after dilution, and like how does
I'll
that work?
outline. Yeah, green manure. That biomanure you can make your own. This thing. Basically, you need to have a desi cow, indigenous breed. That is considered to be the best one because the gut has a lot of microbes. I have this mature cow, so I collect the urine and dung. So I prepare 100 liters in a big plastic bin. 5 kg of dung, 2 liters of urine which I collect, then 5 kg of jaggery, then 2 kg of topsoil from your plot. That is the inoculum or the microbes. So this I mix it in that bin, and continuously after 4 days I take out this solution, and then immediately 1 liter per plant that I put it. And you can make it yourself. And once you get used to it, it can be done by. I mean, there is also you have Panjagavi and other things are also there. But I am trying only Jiva method. It works out for me. to sustain the productivity, because you're not adding any other fertilizer, anything else, only this Jivamrutam to sustain the plants. Basically, then you have in the pit, when you plant, you have 20 kg of that special compost that is there to sustain. The rest is biomass decomposition and all that to take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody was
Great,
asking the scientific name of glyphosate. The glyphosate.
Yeah, somebody was asking what's the common name, what's the local name for
in Malayalam, it is known as Semakonna. Glyphosate, in Jamaica, it's called quick stick. It's quite common. It's as a green manure crop. You have it on a hedges in paddy fields. You harvest it just before the planting. You harvest you cut the leaves. You harvest the leaves and use it as green manure. It's very common, very easy to propagate. So that I used it as live hedges for tying the loose net around that.
Yeah. I think Mr. Rijesh Ranjan has a question. He's also raised his hand.
Yeah,
you can just ask it, Mr. Rijesh.
Ritesh, you can. Can you unmute and ask your question if you want? Or you can, if it's not possible, Sudhi, can you, if it is in the chat box, you can. Can you type that, Rijesh? Maybe then I'll
Sir,
be able
he
to
has written in the chat box.
Yeah.
What are the possibilities and economical viabilities of food forest without animals like cow? Can we plant tapioca or sweet potato for wild boars and include them in the ecosystem? Will they attack our forest?
Yeah, there is. I mean, you can have sweet potato and tapioca and all that, but I didn't do that on purpose because that is a magnet for rodents also. Rodents can come in. There are rodents. That is unavoidable.
Yeah, sir, I could unmute now. Can I ask it directly? Say, okay, if at all rodents come, that will actually say they'll be digging underneath the soil, which will actually help in the loosening of the soil and getting the water down to the earth, right? So it is in fact actually helpful for the forest, I believe. So in that case, rodents and say wild, I was trying to attract the rodents. In fact, if rodents comes, actually the soil will have tunnels inside the underneath the food forest, which would be better for actually maintaining the organic. Say like microbial action plus sustaining the water inside the food forest. That was the purpose itself. Plus the tubers that actually created by tapioca and other these tuber crops will help in actually regenerating the soil. And my question is actually, if we accommodate wild boars, rodents inside the forest, food forest, that is our food forest, I mean our forest, will it actually damage the trees that we actually plant, like mangoes or guava or?
That's a good question, Rajan. My thing is that rodents even now I can see that rodent burrows are there, but I didn't want to aggravate the issue. But rodents are good, but this one porcupines and pigs, wild boars, that will be very difficult to contain. I mean, if that happens, then I am in trouble.
No, I was not trying to say that we have to grow them. But say if we actually I want the tuber crops to accommodate rodents, but if wild boars comes and goes without attacking our other plants, is there any other harm that they create?
I tell you, wild boars and porcupine, they take a special liking to banana suckers. Banana and all that will be destroyed in no time. And it has happened to me before I set up this food forest. Earlier, I was having a little bit of banana, everything. It didn't, not a single one survived due to wild boar attack and also porcupines. So that is an issue. That's why I wanted to discourage these two animals before I establish this one. Otherwise, the rodents are not a big major problem. There are natural predators. I can see a lot of hawks and other predatory birds soaring overhead all the time. So that is not a big issue. So I'm thinking of it, and the next phase I will take up this sweet potato. That is one of the things that I'm planning to take it up. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so my first question was
I think
actually,
there are other questions. Mr.
Yeah,
Ranjan,
we'll take one
can
more
I,
question from him
yeah,
before.
because there are a lot of other people who have asked
Okay.
questions.
Ranjan, can you just send me a mail on that to your queries? I'll respond to you. Shruti, we can moderate
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I'll
yeah.
respond to that because we have to give time to other people also.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, exactly,
yeah.
exactly my point. Yeah.
Well, I'll respond to you, Ranjan. That's a promise.
So there is this very interesting question. Did you see changes in numbers or in diversity of the fauna in terms of bees, ants, butterflies, or frogs, lizards, and so on?
Yeah, there is always some kind of activity, insect activity with the butterflies and all that. I'm seeing it all the time. That is the fauna. I have not been able to document it. Bees, wasps, and other things. They are also there in plenty. Birds, quite a few number of birds are there in the plot because they get millets and all that are it is like a what do you call attracting birds like anything. So I do encourage them because how much can you can't harvest everything and keep to yourself. So there's a lot of this pulses and millets and all that they are eaten up by the birds and you need to keep that into consideration. Yes.
Yeah, and also an extension to that, I think Bibu Datta has asked, being a zoologist, how can he contribute to food, forest, and related research work? One thing is, of course, I think this, which we just spoke about, but if there is anything else you would like to add, sir.
Yeah, he could compare between home gardens and food forests. We have sufficient number of plots. See the diversity of this various what do you call insects and also butterflies and honeybees and all that. Those are bioindicators that sustain the health of that ecosystem. So a comparison would be nice. Compare with adjoining agriculture fields also. So a three-way comparison would be very useful. And we have absolutely no data. Now there are sufficient number of food forest plot. Reggie Joseph has mapped out. I mean, we have a very good network, this food forest farmers, and we will be able to provide you that living laboratory to carry out your experiments.
Yes. Also, there is another question by Mr. Anand. Will it work out in hilly terrain, replacing rubber crops?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So now we are trying out a food forest in Nilambur, where the slope is 20-25. It was a rubber area. Trees are removed, and we are planning to have food forest. We can have it in terraces, but you have to take care of the intense rainfall, erosion that through soil, conservation strategies that is possible. If you should not allow the water to fall, to fall uninterrupted, and drainage has to be regulated, and through soil conservation measures that can be done. Yeah, these slopes can be taken up. Even my land is not a plain land. It's a gentle sloping terrain. 5 to 10 degree slope is there at the top. That is where, and the rest of the area is all planted with bamboo in terraces, in 4 or 5 terraces. So the topmost area I have taken is closer to my house, so I can have an oversight over it. That's why, yeah, possible.
Yeah. So, sir, Ms. Sudha has also asked if you could share contacts for sourcing quality saplings. Maybe they can also reach out to you directly, or if you have something to add, you can.
Actually, all this planting has taken place in one day. Overnight, Reggie Joseph has contacts. He just sends a list to a nursery in Kottayam somewhere, and they deliver it the next day. The list, just give the list, and it is done. You can also, if I had to go and pick it out and choose, all these things may not be available in one nursery. I had to spend a lot of time sourcing for this planting material. But I would give you the contact of Reggie Joseph, and he will probably share with you the nursery person who does this. There are a lot of nurseries, but everything, this diversity of fruit trees may not be there with every nursery. So, but most nurseries in Kerala nowadays are well equipped. They know what is the requirement, more and newer kind of food stuffs, like for example, this peanut butter fruit and all that. I haven't, it is only now I am seeing it myself. Barava, this one, and this Mundiri Pera, something that is something like Goa, grape, like that. These kind of new things, I'm seeing it for the first time. Yeah.
And what about high-tech gardens possibilities in this food forestry systems? That's
High tech.
High-tech gardens possibilities is what's been written. I don't know if somebody wants to elaborate on what.
Yeah, you could just tell me the definition of high-tech in this, because
Yeah,
here,
Mr. Mano
the thing,
Mohanan.
thing is that this could be, with IoT and also timers and all that, you can regulate your watering schedule. Drip irrigation can be done. The other
Yeah.
things, many other things have to be done manually, but not very intensive. I tell you, I spend most of my time in shuttling between Bangalore and Palakkad, and I had a supervisor here. 1 hour a day, that is enough for managing the farm. And this food forest, mostly it is left unattended, and whenever the time comes for when it is too crowded, something like that, just bending the things, and that is it. Harvesting, as I told you, is only the stock that is harvested and fed to the poultry of this agriculture crops, pulses and all that. You use it for your home consumption, vegetables and all that. So that is it. And some surplus will be there with the local market, that you could have a cooperative or something. A local market, people are always there to take your produce, since they know it is safe food, organically grown safe food. So there is always, I see a lot of people coming to visit my food forest, and whatever is there I share with them. Bananas and papaya and any other this baby corn and all that, I used to give quite a lot, harvest and give it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Abdul Latif, he has raised his hand. So if you want to ask your question, be real quick
sure,
about
sure,
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Latif. Yeah, can you unmute and tell?
Mr. Abdul, your mic is unmuted. You can ask your question.
Or you can type in your point, something.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me,
Yeah,
sir?
yeah. Okay.
Sir, while we are discussing about creating a food forest,
Yeah.
At this moment we can also discuss about accommodating these butterflies as well as the pollinators. Biodiversity, keeping in view that biodiversity to be maintained while creating a food forest.
Yeah. You could also, there are certain shrub plants that are very conducive for butterflies and all that. You could have a butterfly garden in the periphery, or some others. Some plants like Crotalaria, for example, Janchia, that's very favored by butterflies, you know that. So that could be planted inside the food forest also. There are spaces. Interspaces could accommodate some of these species, and also on the fence boundaries. So as of now, since I'm not using any pesticides or chemicals or all that, quite a number of insects and butterflies are already there in my food forest, because throughout the year this is happening. One or other crop will be in flower or fruit or something. There is food for, as they say, food for plenty, food for all. Everything is there. So, and you can, as you said, rightly said, you can augment it by having this butterfly-friendly species. Crotalaria jantia is a good example. Yes, possible.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir.
So I will limit the questions to a couple more because we're already running out of time. There are quite a few, but one is from Pavitra: observations on earthworm population during farm forestry journey. Especially she's saying that since it's the initial time down now, how is it working now, and what do you foresee? And also any difference in yields after applying biomanures. So if you can answer that, and then I'll just ask one more question and we'll.
Yeah, Pavitra, there are two questions that I asked. One is that earthworm. Earlier, this land was quite degraded. I wasn't cultivating it. It was just left like that for many years. Earlier, there was only fodder grass cultivation for maybe 4 or 5 years, and after that, it was left unattended. It's only in the past 2-3 years, since 2022, that I started cultivating this land, and I planted bamboo initially, and followed by food forest in last year, June. What I noticed is that, yes, a lot of earthworm castings. That is one of the telltale signs. Activity has increased quite manifold. So I presume that this soil has become conducive. Moreover, since you're not using any chemicals or something like that, other things, possibly the earthworm population has multiplied and enhanced. I do not know about the diversity. Somebody has to do a study on that. Maybe if you are interested, you could take it up. And other thing is regarding the Jivamridam. See, Jivamridam, that's a biomanure that I have been applying to the fruit trees since July last year. So every month I prepare this and then I apply it. And I think the results, when it comes, when the fruit trees come to bearing, that will take another couple of more years. But definitely for banana, it has shown visible signs of, bunch weight and the number and all that. That has. I would invite you to come and visit the Vansri farms and see for yourself and see how it is.
Yeah. Also, Shri has asked if you could explain a little more about the 40-40 plot model that you have spoken about. And Mr. Prem Nair wants to know if avocado and Mediterranean cash crops can also be tried with this food forest model.
I'll answer the first one. If I go back to the slide, what I mean to say is that one standard unit, the distance between two fruit trees is 10 feet. So in this 40 by 40 feet plot, that is one unit, 25 plants will be there, and all the four corners will be the large canopy, and the center, that is the small canopy. So that is one unit. That is a basic minimum in a food forest. So that will require maybe in a 2 or 3 cent area. That's why to have this combination of this 45 or 25 fruit trees, that's the minimum area if you look at it, one unit. So in my plot like that, there is a 40 into 40 feet like that. That must be around. I have 120 plants, so 120 divided by this one 25. So that will be, I must be having 6 units like that. This plot entirely spread over. Yeah, and Prem, hello Prem. I'm glad that you have attended this. Yes, what I would suggest is that Prem, avocado has scope, but in place like Palakkad, because of the long dry spell, this is a problem. Unless you give drip irrigation, I have not tried it. It could come. Maybe I should try it. One thing that I'm also interested is that in this to have this macadamia nuts. That if I'm able to put it, chestnut and all that, nuts and berries, nuts, avocado, this one, what you call the macadamia nuts and all, they are like, the shelf life is more and very income generating. I mean, that 1 kg is around, I think 3,000 or 4,000 I was seeing recently, nuts. If you are able to grow macadamia nuts, that would be, and also for your home nutrition and for local market also, that is something that that has a huge market potential. That is interesting that we came up with that question. Yes, you did talk to me about it. Yeah, I'm seriously exploring that option. Macadamia nut. I also discussed with Regina. Reggie Joseph, sorry. Reggie must be attending this one. I think some of the questions should be directed to him also.
I think we've already overshot it by 10 minutes and, we should kind of close now. Actually, there are quite a few questions and some have asked for your contact details. So if it's okay, I'll just put up your email address in the chat.
And also this, my food forest, I mean, this one, Vanasri Farms is there in the Google also. If you search Google Vanasri Farms, you can see the updates on that. Google Vanasri Farms, Tenkurisi Palakkad. If you just Google it, you'll see this and what all activities that are taking place, recorded with photographs and all that. But basically, what I would suggest is that for a food forest, small poultry unit, I mean, backyard poultry, and one cow, at least one cow, desi cow, would be essential. Because you have to get the cow, dung and urine to make this Jivamridam, you need the backup cow and a calf, maybe. Then that would be nice. Yeah. I'm also happy that Srikanth is also there from KSRA. So, Srikanth, anything that you would like to ask or contribute? Srikanth Badole is a soil scientist from KSRA. And I am partial towards KSRA.
Naturally so.
yeah, I think it's, yeah. Shruti, yeah. Anything else?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you very much, sir. It was like very good. And obviously you could figure out, through the kind of questions that everybody was asking, that they really triggered, I think, everybody's mind with this presentation. Also for everybody attending, we'll also upload this entire talk in the Divecha Centre for Climate Change's website, which is hosting, this talk with Future Earth. So you should be able to view this whole talk there too, subsequently if you all are interested. I have shared sir's email address in the chat, so anybody who wants to get in touch with him, please do. And yeah, thank you very much, sir, for actually agreeing to come and giving this talk. I think it was very useful for all of us who attended it. It's also a very new concept. So, kind of learned a lot from you. So we're still learning as students of you.
Oh,
So it's
I'm
good.
so surprised, Shruti. This is also a new topic for me. I ventured into it. Very
Yeah.
easy to
So,
pick up. So it is not,
yeah,
it is not rocket science. Should be
yeah.
able to pick up the concepts. And the presentation that I shared yesterday night, I think that you can put it up in our website. That is more or
Yeah.
less the final thing. Yeah.
Yes. I'll do that. And we'll also put up this whole talk on the website. I think it takes about a week or so for them to finally,
Send
put
me
it
the
up.
link
But
also.
yeah,
You can also put it up
yes.
in my Facebook.
Yes.
Link to
I
that
will
as
share
well.
it to you, sir. Once it's up, I'll share it with you. You can share it with others. And yeah, thank you very much,
And
sir.
one last word, anybody who wants to do this book for us will be quite happy to share. They can contact me or Reggie Joseph. That is you look into when you share the presentation, all the details will be there. Okay. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, thanks everyone. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Shruti,
Yeah.
Madhusudan, and all the
Thank you, sir.
participants. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I exit, Shruti? Yeah.
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.